Please call the roll.
Winters, Martin,
Here.
Dowling,
Here.
Swallow. Here. Bowman,
Here.
Stelling,
Here.
Brooks,
Here.
Baird. Here.
Okay. Item 4 on the agenda is discussion and action on the consent agenda. All of the following items which concern reports and items of a routine nature normally approved at city council meetings will be approved by one vote of the council. Any member of the council desiring to discuss an item on the consent agenda may request that it be removed from the consent agenda and placed for discussion as the next item on the regular agenda. It will then be considered separately. The consent agenda consists of the consideration and action on the following items. Item A, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting on May 16th, 2022. Item B, approval of the minutes of the special meeting on June 13th, 2022. Item C, approval of claims in the amount of $275,228.88 and payroll expenses of $287,815.78. And item D, approval of ASAP Energy Inc. invoice number 4615116 in an amount not to exceed $35,752.37.
I motion to approve the consent agenda.
I second.
I have a motion by Mr. Stelling and a second by Mrs. Beer to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Stelling,
Yes.
Baird. Yes. Martin,
Yes.
Swallow. Yes. Bowman,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Item 6, reports from staff. I know we haven't had very many meetings, and if I'm being honest, I might need you all to tell me if you have a report or not. I don't believe we have a planning commission meeting. Mr. Bowman, is there a hospital authority meeting?
Yes, the main topic of discussion was the audit. The audit went well. There were, of course, with any audit, there were items that we can work on, but that was the main topic of discussion. They are doing, golly, I can't think what it's called, the program.
Just like our iWorks.
SQSS?
No.
SQSS?
Yeah, SQSS to help them with the billing. The billing company has found some issues internally and externally, and I think they're improving on that. But other than that, it was pretty straightforward to me.
Does the council have any questions for Mr. Bowman?
Did they say what items needed to be improved on that you mentioned?
Didn't get that specific with them.
I'll tell you, it was, well, and the report's available, so if anybody wants it, they can get it. But it's kind of the same thing you've run into in a lot of small towns. It's having enough people to have multiple levels of oversight. All right, library board meeting. Mr. Dowling, do you have a report for us?
Yeah, the library meeting went really well. They've kicked off their summer reading programs. I think they have a lot of people signed up for those, and I've heard really good things about the Lego clubs that they do and participate in. And in fact, if anybody has Legos that they could donate to the library, we're looking at that because it is one of our most popular clubs, and I think they do allow other groups in town to rent that. And so it is, growing, and if you have Legos you'd like to donate, the library would be happy to receive those. They're doing good. The Youth Ambassador program has also started. The reports from staff, they intended some training, and we're looking, I think, from my understanding, the big thing with libraries is, if you've seen, there's lots of banned books and stuff going around, and we have kind of put in a policy looking at only allowing people who are members to put in those requests, because a lot of those requests are funded by larger organizations that kind of put them in, and then looking at potentially adding some. You can only make a request once, and adding a time period where you have to make that request again. But from my understanding, our library has had not very many, and most of them, by the time they sit down and talk, there's not very much paperwork actually filled out to get a book banned. This is mostly looking at external organizations trying to get certain books banned kind of as a national campaign. But we haven't had any of that, just trying to be forward thinking. The other thing is that they're looking at repurposing the downstairs storage area into a changing room. I think they looked at having, I think there's running water down in that room is what they kind of indicated, and it seems like a good fit. I know a lot of modern buildings, if you open them up, you have to have a nursing room for stuff like that. So it's very forward thinking, and the library's got extra space to use, so I think that's a good addition. They also have been replacing some staff PCs, just had some hard drive issues that they had to take care of, nothing too big, and I think they're looking at attending some conferences later, well, I think it's already happened this month, but later for the board meeting. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. Are there any questions?
Any questions from council? Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you.
Next item is the Arena Authority meeting. I don't have any information on that, so we won't.
There was none, they canceled it.
They canceled it? Okay. Next item is the Tourism Tax Commission meeting. Mr. Martin, do you have a report?
Yes. There were 3 items. Last month's meeting, Oklahoma Today advertisement was approved for $2,080. The 3rd annual Northwestern Summer Baseball Tournament for $3,500 was approved. And then the 26th annual Northwestern Football Golf Tournament was also approved for $5,000.
Does council have any questions for Connor? All right.
Just out of curiosity, do any of those items fall into the agenda item that we have later in this meeting for the tourism tax to extend their budget?
I have not had, I need to have some time to research that. I don't know.
Oh, understandable. I just didn't know. Huh.
I just take a look too.
Okay. Next item is the Board of Adjustments meeting, and I don't believe there was a meeting there either. The Alva Regional Airport Commission, that meeting, there was one action item which is on our agenda this evening, so I'll save that. Okay, any questions regarding the airport? Alva Recreation Complex Board meeting.
Dr. Decker presented information on the pool project from the very beginning to the end so that all the members of the board would understand the procedures that they had done and what they had done to get to where we are as far as a pool. And she asked several questions, and they were pretty receptive to everything, so I think we're moving forward there.
Any questions for Gail? All right, thank you. Cemetery meeting. We didn't have that meeting. We were scheduling that for July. Finance Committee meeting, Mr. Martin.
Pretty routine meeting. Spent most of it talking with Crawford and Associates on the new finance format and reporting. I took up the bulk of the meeting. Just getting familiar with that. Some quick numbers here. This is as of May 31st. Let's see here. Total cash balance for the city is $3,242,000 with the pooled cash balance at $1,637,000. I think they said as of June 17th it was somewhere closer to just 1.6. The financial overview, major funds. We have collected as of May 31st 91% of the budgeted revenue and expended 80% of budgeted expenses. The sales tax was positive. It was a positive report this month. Let's see. Sales and use tax totaled $387,000. This is up 6% May of 21 and up 15.5% from April. This is at, let's see, 90% of the proposed budget for 22. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the Finance Committee? Thank you. The mayor's report, been a lot going on. We did receive our sanitation truck last week. It's in, I don't know if it's in service yet, but it's close if it's not. So that's good news. We waited a long time on that. That crew is real excited to have that here in town. The 4th Street project is almost ready to open. They're working on striping right now, so hopefully it'll be, it should be open before the end of the week. We are presently working on a payroll transition. We're going to be moving to a company called Paychex. There's a resolution on our agenda here in a little bit that is relevant to that. But essentially, this is going to eliminate a long-term commitment to a payroll company, and it's going to have a roughly $40,000 positive impact on our budget, meaning it's going to cost us less. So that transition is taking place right now. Trying to get ready to have that transition take place. We have had a number of properties surveyed for projects that are going on, and so we've been working with a survey company out of Enid on that, and those properties are, we now have the surveys back on most of them. One was for the pool project, another was for an industrial project near Wheeler Brothers, and another was for industrial projects at the airport. So there will be some activity coming out of that. Connor mentioned briefly that the Finance Committee, had a conversation with Crawford and Associates, but I want to tell the board that the transition from having in-house finance management has really gone pretty smoothly to having Crawford manage our accounting matters and whatnot. So they've been very responsive to phone calls, emails, whether it's from me or a member of the staff, and so things are going very well there. Been very busy with end of year things, and there's some agenda items here later that are kind of related to that. We have made our annual payment to the airport. We're obligated to pay $116,000, and we've been saving back 5% of our sales tax collections each month in order to be able to make that. And this year we were able to pay $250,000 towards that rather than the $116,000. So we are roughly, I'm going to say, halfway there in 2 years. So we're making progress on that, which is also something of concern to the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission and the FAA, who had the opportunity to meet with yesterday. They're pleased that we're on track with that repayment plan, but they have some more grant opportunities that they were telling us about, and one is regarding building new hangars, and another is like multi-use hangars, not just plain storage, but for events and things like that. So we're looking into that opportunity, and they also, they and our engineer from Park Hill have been made aware that we're going to also be eligible for an extra $159,000 per year for the next 4 years for airport projects as well. So we're working on the engineers getting us some options to take to the board for consideration, what those funds could be used for. Had a meeting at NODA, the Northern Oklahoma Development Authority in Enid, earlier this month regarding the Water Resources Board. They have two funds with that have loan forgiveness programs. One of them is for clean water, and one of them is for drinking water. But there's several $100,000 that would be available for our community, or selected. So we'll be getting the wastewater committee together here before long to start talking about some of those options. We got notice from federal government that the next round of ARPA funding will be here in September. It'll be another $430,000-ish. We are going to have to account for how we spent that, but because we did not receive more than $10 million in ARPA funding, we basically get to use that money, however we need to. So for an accounting purpose, we're going to apply that to payroll, and then the money is now there for us to allocate as we see fit as a council. And it can be part of just routine operating expenses. It can be part of capital, expenses, whatever it may be. It's been figured into the operating budget, but if we need to make a budget amendment later, we can do that. And then we will have a single audit. I always forget what the other word is in that process, but anyway, we're going to have to be audited on that money, and because of that, the payroll is going to make it a pretty simple simple audit. So that's coming down the pike. iWork, we're moving forward with iWorks. Still doing some training with staff, and hopeful that project will be underway in July. On that note, I'm looking at another system for use in the office that really doesn't fit under the scope of service that iWork offers, but it's a similar type program for helping us stay on track with the other important things that come up that when we get distracted sometimes we lose track of. So it's another accountability program that I think will help us. I'm still considering that, though no decision's been made. It's not anywhere near the expense of iWork, so it's I'll let you know about it, but it's not. It won't require a council decision. About a week ago, somewhere around that time, about a week ago, the Northern Oklahoma Regional Transportation Policy Organization, I can't remember, NORTPO is the acronym, but they were in town, and we had about 8 citizens in attendance, and they explained some of the planning opportunities that they're working on for Northwest Oklahoma in regard to transportation, whether that be roadways or whether that be public transit or railroads, airports, what have you. And then the members of our community that were present weighed in with their thoughts on what needed to be included in a long-term plan for transportation. By participating in this plan, it makes our community eligible for some grant funding, and it also makes in anything that's on the plan, when we do apply for grant funding, it's going to be scored higher than something that may be from another community that's not on the plan. And we'll get to that in a little bit. Happy to answer any questions. Next item is the business manager's report. We don't have a business manager, so we'll move on to remarks and inquiries by citizens. Now, Elda, you do have a spot on the agenda, so you don't have to talk in this item. But anybody else that would like to speak to the council, we'll give you 2 minutes. If you're able to stand, stand. If not, just state your name and you may address the council. Quick, thank you. Item 9 on the agenda is discussion and action on the Homestead Pond project, and then we'll get to you guys. I'm going to move things around. Elda Jones.
Yes, I am Elda Jones, and I was a resident here probably I'm trying to figure out, 15 years ago, and I was here for about 30 years prior to that. I left, and the homestead was just brand new. Matter of fact, I left in '07. It was built in, we think, 2000. That I remember as a resident of Alva, the fountain that was always there. It was just, I think, a drawing card, and I talked to several people out at the homestead, and they said, yes, they remember it, and yes, it was a drawing card for them. With me is Elaine Schnabel, who has been there 10 years. Is that Elaine? 10 years. You've been there?
Yeah, I've been there 10 years.
Okay, and so she remembers it because it's probably not been working about 5. And the other one is Betsy Miller, and we are just wanting to know where we're at on the fountain. There's been a lot of scuttle out there about what are they going to do with it, and when are we going to do this and that. Lots of people have their own opinions, but the ones that have anything to say, it's either do fix it or don't fix it. But we would like to see something done with it. It's just a hole in the ground right now. They've talked about, some people think it needs to be filled and put a gazebo or a concrete slab out there or something like that, which I just really think that we need the fountain back. It was a drawing card for me, and I would be very interested in seeing that done again. So I would like to know where we stand and what's happened with it, because the last I've heard is that there was a liner that didn't work, and they had to take that out. But the fountain, we'd really like to see the fountain back in there. And when it rained, 3-4 weeks ago, it was pretty full.
So the liner was damaged. That's when the pond was drained and the silt was dug out and it was recontoured. The contractor I contacted him last week or the week before. I've contacted him since I learned you wanted to come speak to council. He assured me that the homestead is on the schedule. The liner is available. I told him that we need to have some action. And so I don't yet have a firm date on when the work will commence, but the liner has been purchased. The contour of the pond, that has been completed, so we need the liner to be placed, and we need his crew to do that.
Well, I know there's those 2 drain holes, and I mean, I don't know, does the water, I don't remember them being there, and I
They've
sure
always
thought
been there.
it was a lot fuller than that, but I just can't. I would like to recommend that if we do a fountain, that we do a light. I don't remember if there was a light before, but you can do a light in that. And there's several people, some people said it looks wonderful when it's on. It looks bad when there's nothing going out there. So that's just, and I was telling Marion, I remember that we went out there and Lynn Martin took our Christmas pictures out there, if any of you remember that, for several years, in the beginning of 2000, because I remember it being a new residence and stuff like that. Let's see, I think that's it. We just want to know where we're at and are going to get anything done.
Well, that's where we're at.
Okay. So we're on the agenda.
Well, he told me that we are on the schedule. He does have the liner.
Okay. And the city's still gonna do something about that, yeah.
That plan hasn't changed. Though.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move some items around on the agenda to have number 19 moved up to the next item. So this item is a presentation of the Gary Sanderson Scholarship. This scholarship is generally chosen every year with assistance from members of the community and the police department helping to choose the recipient. And this year, due to some kids from our officers being involved in this scholarship application process, we did not have any of our officers involved in the selection process, so it was completely independent. And with that, I would like to ask Chief Warcutt. I don't know what I was going to call you. You were having trouble finding names earlier today.
I'm sure.
To present the scholarship.
Okay, so just to give everybody a little idea, kind of what our scholarship is every year we present a scholarship to a student from Alva High School that's going to attend Northwestern.
Good luck to your son.
We have a board that we get together, and it's people that we selected from the community, and we ask them to choose the recipient of the scholarship and choose whether we're going to give $1,000 scholarship or two $500 scholarships. And this year, our board chose to give one scholarship of $1,000. And I'm actually going to bring Gary up here, since it's his namesake, and Assistant Chief Patrick Hawley, because the person that was selected is kind of near and dear to him. So, this year the board chose Sammy Hawley to be the recipient of our Kids and Cops Scholarship. So.
Gary, can you come a little
Ben,
closer?
Gary, come on
Now,
now.
Ben?
I'm here.
Darlene wants a picture of your other side.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, yeah.
Darlene, look, turn that way for Darlene, she wants to get you.
It's most important that Mom gets the picture.
You get one out your way.
I got one.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Sammy.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. And thank you, Chief, for being here. This one. Oh, I meant you.
You'll have a good one.
Take care. Item 10 is discussion and action to enter into executive session pursuant to A25 OS 307B1 to discuss the contract negotiations with IAFF Local 3782, Alva, Oklahoma, and B250.S307B.2 to discuss the business manager search. Is there a motion to enter into executive session?
I make a motion to enter into executive session.
Second.
Have a motion by Mrs. Beer and a second by Mr. Dowling to enter into executive session. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Bear,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Stelling,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes. All right, I'll ask council members to remain on contract negotiations with the firefighter union, and there is no action to be taken there. Item 13 is action on business manager search, and there's no action to be taken there. Item 14 is the CIP, and Gail Thomas, right?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't write it down. I'm glad I remembered. Gail Thomas is here with OIDA, and she's going to give us a brief presentation on what the CIP project is. This is also actually, 14 is the public hearing, and then 15 is the resolution that's required. So we are taking, how about you give us a brief introduction, and I'll let the public have comment after that.
Okay, so, yes, we have a public hearing, so anybody can make comments. And the point of this, I'll start with my name. My name's Gail Thomas. I'm from OIDA. And so I have approached Kelly about this program, and it's funded through the CDBG block grants, and it's called Capital Improvement Planning. And so the purpose of the public hearing is to let people know that we are going to ask the City of Alva if they'd like to apply for this grant. And the capital improvement plan is, there's a couple of different aspects to it. One is that we do a inventory of all your larger ticket items, things that cost, maybe over $2,000 or something that you kind of have to plan for. We're not going to inventory all your tools or anything like that, but just like more the heavy equipment, your buildings, your parks, anything that the city owns. And then we do, we evaluate the condition of your infrastructure. We map everything, and then I produce big wall maps for water systems, sewer systems, streets. And so we have that's like the inventory, and the purpose of the maps is to identify as closely as we can the location and condition of the infrastructure, like where are your manholes, which fire hydrants need to be replaced, this kind of thing. So Alva, this program is designed to be a 5-year thing. And the last time this was done for Alva was in 2012. And the other part of this program is to set your priorities for a 5-year plan. So we talk about what kind of projects can you anticipate that you're going to have to do. Are you going to have to fix, a water tower? Or are you going to have to fix certain thing at the lagoon or something like that? So we identify projects that you're probably going to have to do, and then we prioritize those based on the urgency. Is it really got to be done right away? Is this something that needs to be done, we can foresee it? Or is it something we just like to do if we had the money or could do it, and things that you're probably not going to have to do in 5 or 10 years? The products that are produced are wall maps of your major systems. Then we produce field books of the same maps where they're durable enough that you can put them in a truck, and so if the guy's driving around in the truck, he can open that map and see if this line's supposed to be on which side of the street, or if it's behind the curb or in the street, and that kind of thing. So because it's so complicated, and a lot of times things are not well recorded, we do the best we can. I'll start with the maps that were done in 2012, and then we'll add anything that we know has been changed, or something that maybe somebody has discovered in the meantime. So what it would be is I do all the work. I need the cooperation of your best public works person, your most knowledgeable person that knows about your infrastructure and stuff, and I'll need some help from Kelly or Heather on the grant site. You have to authorize certain steps of the process, like when I get paid and everything. So speaking of getting paid, this is 100% funded through the Oklahoma Department of Commerce. It won't cost you anything. They believe that it's important for cities to have this process, both for your usefulness to you, but also for your fiscal planning. And then, like he mentioned about the transportation grants, anything that goes on this plan, you can maybe get extra points if you apply for a grant to fund these projects that you've identified. It helps you if they have already been in a plan and it has gone through this public process of, then you can show if your grant application says, does this project have public support? The fact that it's on your capital improvement plan proves that it has the support of the public, and we've already gone through that process. So, have I explained it pretty well, or do you have any questions? It'll probably take me several months to go through this, and I'll have 12 months to do it, but it probably won't take quite that long, but, and then, let's see, is there anything else?
So from a cash flow standpoint, we fund it up front and then we are reimbursed.
Yes, when it comes time, halfway, I can either wait till the end to give you an invoice, but since it's gonna be more than 6 months, I'll probably give you an invoice halfway through or at the end of the mapping process or something. And so then you would pay me, and then I submit that to the state and they reimburse you. And they've already approved Alva for the project based on your low-income status in the last year that you had it done. And then somebody from Alva had approached me, I believe it was Angelica, before, about wanting to get this updated for Alva. So I had you on the list for over a year because we can only do 1 or 2 projects a year. So you were on the list, at the top of the list. And the project altogether, the Department of Commerce has authorized me for $40,000 to do this. And so I would bill you probably $20,000 the first time, then you get reimbursed, and then at the end of the project, when you're satisfied, we bill you the rest. And they turn those around pretty good. You can talk to Susan Bradford at Waynoka. I did one for her 2 years ago. And so,
I guess, what type of things were outlined for the plan for Winoka?
well, let's see. They had a bridge and a trail that they wanted to fix. So that was on their project. What else did they want? It's been a while. Most people, have specific water or sewer projects that they anticipate they're going to have to spend money on. Like I just did one for Forgan. Their entire water system needs to be replaced, their entire town. And so they developed a strategy that they want to put in to do that, and it's a multi-year project. Parks often, like equipment or repair of bathrooms in the park, or what else? Trying to think, I'm doing Leedy right now, they just got done. Leedy's in pretty good shape. They had a nice town. Alva looks pretty good too. But they had several ideas that they wanted to do. Oh, they wanted to put in a splash pad rather than a pool. They wanted to put in a splash pad over there. So it's down on their priority list, but it's something they'd really like to do.
It sounds like this fits into a lot of things that we're doing as a city, specifically with the pool grant and then those parks and trails and stuff, and then the larger grant that we get for a waterway infrastructure. Seems like a natural cost with reimbursement is win-win.
Yeah, it just assists you with planning, and then part of it is what we end up with just this like top 10 or top 15 projects that you'd like to be able to do or would need to do, and then you say, okay, well, where's the funding going to come for this, and how much are we willing to spend, and what year do we want to spend it, where are we going to get the money, and how soon does it have to be done. So it gives you a sort of a plan, and then when you do your budget every year, you can say, how much have we made progress on this, or what do we want to do this year, and that kind of thing. And then
The materials that you gather throughout your time during this, can those be handed over to the city to keep on record and stuff?
absolutely, you'll get everything. I'll give you the maps, and I make a brief report, but mostly it's the mapping in this little report, and then your 5-year plan. But the big thing, is this huge GIS data file, and we keep that on file. And I have your old file from 2012, and so that saves me a lot of time because I can build on that rather than recreating it from scratch. But if you have your own GIS person or capability, or if you get that in the future, we, will give you all those files. And the city of Hooker, I did them a couple of years ago, and they did want their files, and they're storing them, but I still have them too. So But yeah.
All right, thank you.
So on that note,
Yeah.
is there any public input? I think you guys are here with OG&E, right? Okay. All right. Well, then, thank you, Gail. The next thing we have to do is approve the resolution that's in the packet. That's item 15, discussion and action to approve CIP CDBG, Capital Improvement Planning Community Development Block Grant, Resolution 2022-016, a resolution of the City of Alva, Oklahoma, seeking assistance in community development from the Oklahoma Department of Commerce in obtaining community development funds, and upon receipt, administering any such grant by the rules and regulations established by the United States of America, the State of Oklahoma, and all empowered agencies thereof.
I'd make the motion.
I second.
I'm glad we have to do that whole thing out again, please.
Can I have you say you make a motion to?
I would like to make an emotion to approve.
And I second.
I have a motion by Mr. Dowling, a second by Mrs. Beer to approve Resolution 2022-016. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Dowling,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Stelling,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us again, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
I have
You
one
want
other
us to
thing.
sign it tonight? And
You can send them to me, but there are several resolutions in this packet that are just standard CDBG stuff, like you have to have a citizen participation plan and fair housing, residential anti-displacement. These are all just typical CDBG requirements, so we're asking you to authorize the mayor to sign those. And then the other thing that we're going to need is this, we need a committee of 5 or 10 people that will serve to talk about the projects and kick it around and, help me review everything. And then I'll bring these results back to you and report to the council. So there's committee is going to be doing most of the work, and that committee will meet, they'll meet 3 times, and those meetings will be maybe a month or 60 days apart. And so I do need those other documents too.
does that require council action? Or
I'm just going to approve resolutions.
We can approve resolutions, and then I'm going to have a committee at some point appointed.
like another resolution, or
Well, let's see what it says. It is a resolution. A resolution by the City of Alva creating a local planning activities committee. And I had sent that to you, but I didn't.
I didn't realize it was another resolution. I apologize.
So there's a little packet of resolutions. There's several.
Next meeting? Okay.
So-
Okay, so we'll have to put that on another agenda.
Okay, I will send this to you and have you fill it out, and then you can get it back to me.
Okay.
But the rest of it, the application has to be made by July 8th. So the rest of it, I will, if you authorize him to sign those resolutions and return them to me, then I can have the application submitted to the state before the 8th.
So,
Do you have to have all of the resolutions
or just the
passed,
one?
or the primary resolution that we just passed?
I
We're
have-
seeking
I
assistance.
thought on the agenda it said several of them, didn't it?
The only
doesn't
one
say-
that we saw was the one that was,
The only one I saw was that one, it looks
When
like.
I looked at on the website, oh, there you go. Is that your agenda?
Yeah.
Could I peek at it? Have to approve the resolution seeking assistance. Attachment, CDBG resolutions, the PDF, it should have had, the PDF that I sent had 7 pages.
Oh, this one only has 2.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
I think that's, Sadie's right, we didn't, and Rick's right, we didn't
There's only
We
2
didn't prepare a
pages.
resolution for all of that, we only prepared a resolution for the, looks like
Okay.
that top page you've got there.
Well, phooey. Is there a way that we can, can that be done under new business?
Yeah.
We can get the rest of the proper format.
We'll call a special meeting between now and the end of the month,
That would help me.
yeah.
Otherwise, we won't be able to do it. So.
Okay. That's the answer
Okay.
to the question.
Okay, so if you could do that, and then name a few people for a committee, that would be all we need to do. And then I send everything into the state, and Kelly hits submit, and we're good to go.
Okay.
And then the project would start in January.
Okay.
Can we either have copies of that?
Yeah,
Or are you
I've got
sending the? Okay.
I brought
I
it
have
for
it.
you.
I didn't realize there was another resolution, and,
That's awesome.
yeah.
We can get that done properly.
Would you pass these to them?
All right,
Okay, sorry about that misunderstanding.
that's okay.
Is there anything else?
I think we're good till we call our special meeting. I'll let you know when that's gonna be, and I don't know that you'll need, if we have any questions on those other resolutions, I'll give you a holler, but
Okay.
I don't know that you would have to travel all over again
Right.
for that, so.
Okay, yeah, it would be pretty simple if you know.
Okay.
So, all right, well, thank you so much, and I'll enjoy looking over Alva for you and seeing if I can help you.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Item 16 is discussion and action to approve 2022, Resolution 2022-009, adopting the general fund budgets for fiscal year 2022-2023 as presented. Hold open. Just to recap the process, we began meeting and discussing the budget in February. We have had it on the agenda in our May council meeting. We had a public hearing on June 13th, and so we've met all of the requirements that the state has for preparing and approving a budget. The last thing we have to do is pass our budget resolutions by June 30th. If somebody's prepared to make a motion, I would entertain it, but if not, I can pull up the dollars. You printed it, good for you. I miss Angelica. So the annual budget for the general fund is $6,497,556 in revenue, $400,504 in transfers, and those would be from the AUA primarily, and then expenditures of $7,088,564. We have discussed pretty well all the items in there. This does include a 4% cost of living increase for employee wages. It includes the increase to utility rates as revenue. It includes also the 522 district funding in here. Actually, this doesn't include the utility rates. That's going to be in the utility budget, but this includes the, it does include still the 522 district and the
move to approve resolution 2022-009, adopting general fund budgets for fiscal year 2022 and 2023 as presented.
I second.
Have a motion by Mr. Stelling, a second by Mrs. Beer to approve Resolution 2022-009, adopting the general fund budget for fiscal year 22-23 as presented. Is there any further discussion?
I have one question about the budget, and I'm a little uncomfortable bringing it up because it was brought up a little bit earlier, but it's in the budget, and I already had the question, but it's about the fire department and their budget and Social Security being in their budget, and do they receive any Social Security benefits, or why did we have that budgeted in there? Any idea?
I'm going to say it was just a formula.
Okay.
It didn't get spent. And so it's just if they finish their year under budget because of that.
Okay, I just thought it was kind of odd.
So, I mean, we can amend that later if we need to, or we can leave it in there as a cushion if they have other things that go over, but it's whatever council would like to do.
Okay.
I guess, I noticed that was the same case for this current fiscal year. Is that what we'll have to do currently?
We don't have to. We can finish we can finish the fiscal year without spending it, without doing a budget amendment.
Okay. And then there was the chip and seal and the poly cards that, where we would borrow, for the capital items. That's not guaranteed to get done, though, if we're.
No, just because we budget it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Okay.
It means that we agree to move forward with this type of a plan, but that can all change. The
Yeah.
funding mechanism and the project itself can change. It just means that
Okay.
this is generally the plan,
Yeah.
and we accept that this is the plan and the reasonable estimate of finances to accomplish that plan.
Okay. I had some complaints about the chip and seal being in there, and I didn't agree, I didn't particularly like it in there either, because of the location, and, just not in this, I wouldn't consider it a city.
Yeah, that would have to be, that would go through the street committee, and if there was, chip and seal itself would be an operational decision.
Yeah.
It wouldn't necessarily have to come to council, but if you guys want to hear it in front of council, we can.
I mean, that was just for chipping and sealing on at the gravel at the rec park, is what specifically what I was talking about. That would go through the street
And that's,
department, those.
well, that would actually, if the rec park, it would go through the ADA,
Okay.
and then the rec park would have decision authority on, not final authority, but
The board would.
their board would.
But with we making that boards, that's the Parks and Rec board that would have that decision.
Yes. Any other discussion? Please call the vote.
Stelling,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Dowling,
No.
Brooks,
No.
Next item is discussion and action. Let's move, where's everybody at?
27.
We'll move item 27 up to this position and let you guys finish your evening a little earlier if you'd like. So item 27 is discussion and action on the OG&E billing statement for account 359-63703-0 and amount not to exceed $47,029.97. So and I'd love it if you guys could maybe enlighten us on what's been going on with the billing, because we prefer to, and maybe the bills are always going to be over the manager spending limit, but it seems like they've been over, and we've been, at least we've been informed, and not by you, but from our previous personnel, that things are straightened out and we'd be getting regular bills. And is this a regular bill, or is this?
Yes, I'm Jerry Welch. I'm with OG&E. I'm supervisor in the billing area. The 47-029.97 is a combined bill for the city. So that's everything that's on your combined bill. So that could be this building here, any of the parks, any of the water pumping stations, anything with the city. It's all on what we call a combined bill, so it's all summed together. You get one statement that I have here if you need to look at it. That's everything on there. What that last one includes is, and you'll get a statement every time too. I've highlighted the one for overhead street lights. It's 36,258.52, and what that is that's April, May, and June for the lighting. That's the reason this bill came to where it was, because there was 3 months of the lighting piece that totaled 36,258.52. So,
I have a question.
sure.
We were told 2-3 months ago that those high bills were the lighting piece, and then that would come
2-3
down.
months, yeah.
So so my concern is if 2-3 months ago it was supposed to be the lighting piece, how is the lighting piece now still being so high after the conversion?
Okay, so we're in the middle of a conversion. What we've done is every time one of those lights comes out of the field, one of the traditional lights, I drove around here and I see a lot of LEDs, but one of those lights will come out of the field, we'll document that light, and we have to match it up one for one. So someone has to manually look at that light and say it's on the corner of whatever. We find that light in the system, we replace it with an LED. And so that's what's going on behind the scenes every time. To answer your question about the bill, that's a 3-month bill for those lights. So it really hasn't changed. The total amount has changed, but the average on that around $12,000 a month. So it really hasn't changed from a monthly standpoint.
Well, but what it does is it creates a burden on this council to have to come together and approve it each month, and then we hear that we're not going to get any more 3-month bills, and then we get another bill that's high, but it's not supposed to be a 3-month bill. And so I think, what can we expect moving forward, just so we can be prepared?
Well, to just explain what goes on there too, and I'll let you know what, we don't want to double bill you. So when in that process of trying to pull one traditional light out and replacing it with an LED, there's a time lag there. So it could easily happen where we could bill you for this traditional light, bill you for the same LED that's on the same location. We don't want that to happen. That's what's going on. That's the reason for the delay. We're at a point to where we're doing those audits monthly. I wouldn't expect to see this go on, but we're in the middle of conversion. There's still roughly a couple of hundred lights that need to be converted here in Alva. So, but I wouldn't expect this to be at a shape. It's going to get better, and I want to apologize for that kind of piece too, but it gets better as the closer we get to being 100% converted.
I was going to ask, do you know what percentage we're currently at for conversion?
I'm not sure the percentage, but I think there's still a couple of hundred lights that are either ready to be removed, have not been removed and replaced, or in the process of being removed. So when I say in the process, we've already replaced it in the field. We haven't changed it in the billing record.
And just when you say a few hundred, do you mean like 3 or 4 or closer to 6 or 7?
No, closer to 200. I'm sorry.
Well, I appreciate you coming over, and Alex for working with you guys to get you here, because it's something that, like Sadie said, and we're just trying to understand it better, and we appreciate you coming here to help us do that.
If there's any other questions, Alex, I think, is probably the best contact, but let me know.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve the OG&E billing statement for the account stated for amount not to exceed $47,029.97.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Stelling, and a second by Mr. Bowman to approve OG&E bill for $47,029.97. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Stelling,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Swallow. Yes.
Okay. Thank you all. Guys, I'm gonna have to go. I have talked to Mr. Stelling, and he's prepared to take over the rest of the meeting. But let's do 17 and 18 real quick, though.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
17 is discussion and action on OEDA selection of Susan Bradford, Winoka Mayor, to serve on OEDA board as the Woods County Mayor's representative. The letter in your packet is something that OEDA sends out when they need to replace their mayor member of their group. They take a mayor from each county that's in their group, and so Susan has visited with me. She's also visited with the mayor of Tacoma and Freedom, and she's willing to serve in that capacity, and none of the rest of us are, so it makes it a little bit easier. But I think Susan will do a good job. She'll represent our county well, and I know that if there's something that affects Alva, she'll pick up the phone and give us a call and keep us in the loop what's going on. So I'd entertain a motion to approve Susan.
I make a motion to approve Susan, the Winoka Mayor, to serve on the OEDA board as Woods County's mayor's representative.
Second.
Have a motion from Mrs. Beer, second from Mr. Bowman to select Susan Bradford, Winoka Mayor, to serve on the OEDA board as Woods County Mayor's representative. Any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Bear,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Brooks,
Abstain.
Dowling,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Stelling,
Yes.
All right, and item 18 is discussion and action on the COBRA POP Resolution 2022-015, adopting the Paychex Employee Benefit Plan Premium Only Plan and authorizing the mayor to execute an adoption agreement setting forth terms and conditions. I mentioned in my report that we're switching to Paychex. This will be, again, at a significant, about 50% of what we were paying for Next Step. We'll be paying Paychex. We did look at other payroll options as well, and Paychex seem to have the most benefit for us and the least long-term commitment. So, no long-term commitment, basically. So if it doesn't go well, we can switch again, but it seems like it's going to meet our needs, and so therefore I would entertain a motion.
I move to take action on the accept COBRA POP Resolution 2022-015, adopting paycheck employee benefit plan.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Stelling, a second by Mr. Brooks to adopt Resolution 2022-015, Paychex Employee Benefit Plan, and authorizing the mayor to execute adoption agreements. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Stelling,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Did I skip one?
Yeah, Citizens improvements.
Yeah. Todd will wait. Item 20, we'll do that real quick. Discussion and action, Parks and Recreation Commission Ordinance 2022-003, an ordinance amending Chapter 38, Article 5, Alva Recreational Complex of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Alva, Oklahoma by replacing Article 5 in its entirety, providing for severability and repealer. I sent the language out to council members probably a couple weeks ago. And this has been discussed in committee and in here to some extent. But this is the ordinance with all those changes in its proper form. Rich reviewed it for accuracy, well, for form. Right? How would you say that?
Co-drafted it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He made sure that what I told him to put in it was legal to put in it, so. So, this is something that the Parks and or the Recreation Complex Board has already given their blessing on with an affirmative vote, so I would entertain a motion.
I was just going to ask, the language kind of regarding, no real property shall be disposed of by the board, by the sale, lease, or otherwise except for the authority of the city council. However, the board may lease space, area or improvements, and grant concessions on the grounds proper for purposes of incidental to operation of the parks and recreation venues. Will you kind of sum that up in a less legal way so that I can understand it?
That means that they can use their property to benefit the
And so do that mean they have control over vendors that sell there, or the ability for organizations to use that property to sponsor events?
Yes.
Okay. What type of, is there an outline of review process for that, or criteria that they will use for that selection?
They determine that.
Okay.
I would assume it would be similar to what they do now, where, they have vendors come out and do certain things.
Well,
They would
that's what
establish rules for that.
I talked to some people, and I didn't know what the current rules are for, I know the ARC has pretty strict rules, but I didn't know the parks and stuff like that. I didn't know, like the Girl Scouts do a bake sale, and I doubt they did any prior approval or events like that
Yeah,
when they did that
if
bake sale.
If I'd known you were going to have that question, I would have researched it a little bit, but I didn't have time to research that.
My apologies, I kind of thought when we put the legal matter together, we kind of thought through those processes, but I apologize for that misunderstanding.
I entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the Park and Recreation Commission Ordinance 2022-003.
A second.
Have a motion by Mr. Bowman, a second by Mrs. Beer to approve Parks and Recreation Commission Ordinance 2022-003. Is there any further discussion?
I had two requests that came to me regarding it, and I know you can't change the ordinance now, but just, when you appoint or something, but representative from Friends of the Park, and maybe a representative from somebody that's over in the ward by Rose Park, in that area. And I know that some of the people over, especially over in that area, have been unhappy with the funding that originally was supposed to go to Baton Rouge Park or something, as what we had discussed, and they just feel like they want some representation over there in that area. So,
Yeah, we can do that when we appoint new members.
okay.
I do, and we are going to schedule the Friends of Play to go speak to the board, just like we did with the pool commission. So. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I guess I was going to ask, on the portion of it where the current mayor will hold that member's, vacancy shall be filled for the unexpired portion of the term by the mayor of that city. Members shall serve without compensation. Just on the off chance that two people are missing from that board, would that mean the mayor could hold both seats?
No.
All right, I just didn't know.
Any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Bowman,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Brooks,
No.
Dowling,
No.
Martin,
Yes.
and Stelling.
Yes.
Okay. Randy, I'm going to leave you with it. You all have I think everything, these budget resolutions that are on here, they are strictly for cleaning up the budget for the end of the year. The more we get done before the end of the year, the cleaner our audit will be. And we will likely have amendments in next month's meeting. Expenses have gone quite a bit up, and so that's the major reason for it. So they all of the budget resolutions, though they may not have been budgeted, we did have the cash for the streets. We did also have the cash for the other items. The airport item, I will tell you, it has an increase in revenue and expenses because that's all going to be fuel related mostly. So, sorry to bail on you. But I have a prior obligation. I wasn't planning on this meeting. So, you got it, Randy?
Yep.
I'll have my phone on.
Kyle, Brady from here.
Yeah. Matt, may I ask, Taylor, on that question you were asking about, that the vacancy being filled, that means the mayor appoints
Okay.
someone. He doesn't fill it. He
He can,
appoints.
okay, so we can do that. Okay.
He doesn't actually fill the position. That wording may be a little difficult to understand, but that's the same language that was in the original.
With
ordinance.
council approval.
With
Yeah.
council approval. Okay.
So-
Thank you for that
So I wanted to make
clarification.
sure that was,
No, I appreciate that.
okay.
Okay, item 21, discussion action on school resource officer contract for school year 2022-23 with Career Tech Northwest Technology Center. I'm not, some of you haven't been here for some of that they reimburse us for a certain amount, whatever cost is that we put an officer out there and stuff. It's kind of a common deal. Usually we have one with high school too and everything, so this is Northwest Technology Center. Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve school resource officer contract for school year 2022-2023 with Career Tech and Northwest Technology Center.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Who was the second?
Greg.
She motioned, you seconded. I'm
Greg,
sorry.
second.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm bad about
No, you're
repeating.
good. I just.
As long as you catch everybody, then we're good. Call the vote.
Bear,
Yes.
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
I need to vote.
Oh, you still get to
Yes.
vote?
Yes.
So sorry. Mr. Stelling,
Yes. Okay, item 22, discussion action on right-of-way project described as Woods 32087 US Highway 281, authorizing the mayor to sign offer letter in the amount of $10,155. I assume that's for part of the right-of-way when they're doing the highway project out there, I believe, for what I read.
That's correct.
Yes.
That's on the airport. To a place, it's called, I went to take it.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the right-of-way project described with Woods 3208705 US Highway 281, authorizing the mayor to sign the letter in the amount of $10,155.
Second.
I'll second.
Have a motion to say, Taylor made a second. Any other discussion? Call the vote.
Bear,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Stelling,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Item 23, discussion action resolution 2022-012, amending fiscal year 2021-22 annual budget of the city of Alva, Oklahoma, increasing the amount by $95,123. Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2022-12, amending the fiscal year 21-22 annual budget for the city of Alva, increasing the amount by $95,123.
I second.
We have a motion by Sadie and Ms. Gale, second. Any other discussion? Call the vote, please.
Bear,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Stelling,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Item 24, discussion action to approve resolution 2022-013, amending fiscal year 2021-22 annual budget for City of Alva, Oklahoma, increasing the amount by $40,000. Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2022-013, amending the fiscal year 2021-22 annual budget for the city of Alva, increasing the amount by $40,000.
Second.
Motion is Ms. Baird, and then second by Mr. Morton. Any other discussion? Call for vote.
Bear,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Stelling,
Yes.
Dowling,
No.
Swallow,
Yes.
Brooks,
No.
Item 25, discussion action on approved resolution 2022-014, amending fiscal year 2021-22 annual budget for City of Alva, Oklahoma, increasing the amount by $40,000.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2022-014, amending the FY 2021-2022 annual budget for the city of Alva, increasing the amount by $40,000.
I second.
We have a motion by Ms. Baird and second by Ms. Swallow. Any other discussion? Call for vote.
Bear,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Stelling,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Dowling,
No.
Brooks,
No.
Item 26, discussion action on fiscal year 2022 farm ground lease bids.
I was going to ask, on the handout that I have, it lists the airport farm, but not necessarily on the agenda as item C.
Kelly said that airport was gonna take a look at that or do whatever they do at their next meeting, and then it would be on the next budget.
I assume that's correct.
I guess
I think that would be next month.
July 18th.
Understand.
Because they hadn't reviewed it or hadn't approved it, as I
Right.
understand it, so.
Oh, okay. That's the largest number, son.
The bids there you can see is A, cemetery farm ground, Roger Hayden for $9,200, and item B, Harper Road site, Scoss has for $1,189.50.
I'll make a motion to approve the FY 22-2023 farm ground lease bids.
I think we need to do that, A
For
and
first
B.
A and B,
Yes.
separate, or can I say together?
Separate.
Okay, for lease bids for the cemetery farm ground for Roger Hayden, $9,200.
I'll second.
Okay, for item A, we have a motion by Ms. Beer and second by Taylor. Is there any other discussion?
Where is the farm ground?
I believe there's,
They've got some
They have
out
some-
off of
yes,
campus, but I think this is,
there's some ground over there somebody
if
gave.
they own it, it's
Yes,
donated to it.
yes, and that's just the lease for it. No other discussion, and call for vote.
Bear,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Stelling,
Yes. Okay, for item B, Harper Road Sites, cost has motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the FY 2022-2023 farm ground lease bids for Harper Road site for Scott Hess for $1,189.50.
Second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Beer, second by Mr. Bowman. Any other discussion? Go.
Bear,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Stelling,
Yes.
and Brooks.
Yes.
Okay, item 28, which Kelly always says there's nothing falls in that, so. Remarks, inquiries by council members.
I guess I was gonna ask, are we aware of when the right-of-way mowing will continue past? I think that's that Bank Central sign there. I saw them doing by the park there. I just had some citizens asking if they'll make their way up, all that way up there.
I haven't talked to them here lately. I think there were some issues on some of the help with the heat and stuff and everything, so, I'm not sure where they're at. I think they've got a lot of ground to cover and stuff, and so I know they need to go south, everything, so trying to get the first round and stuff and everything, so. And of course, with all the rains, it really advanced it, and now we're hot and dry. Hopefully it'll kind of slow down a little bit, so, yeah, I'm not sure where they're at, but I think they're making the rounds, trying to probably keep the parks and everything else looking good, and then the right of way is kind of
No, that's what.
fall in the last category and
Yes,
stuff, so.
they brought it
yeah.
up in the idea that they saw how well they were doing up by the pond over there. and just,
Yes.
when will we get down to my neck of the woods?
Yeah, yeah. So,
Rick, is this your last council meeting?
Well, let's make it special. Yeah.
So we can have a special
Squeeze another
guest
in
visit you in
I
here.
just wanted to make a point of that. That's,
And the
And
crowd
Indiana
went wild.
well,
okay, we'll adjourn the city council meeting. Guess there's no special order on either one. We'll start Alva Utilities Authority meeting. Roll call.
Winters, Martin,
here.
Dowling,
Here.
Swallow,
Here.
Bowman,
Here.
Stelling,
Here.
Brooks,
Here.
Bear,
Here.
Item number 3, discussion action on the consent agenda. All the following items which concern reports and items of routine nature normally approved at AUA meetings will be approved by one vote of authority. Any trustee desiring to discuss item on the consent agenda may request that it be removed from the consent agenda and placed for discussion on the next item on the regular agenda. It will then be considered separately. The consent agenda consists of consideration action on the following items: approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of May 16th, 2022. Approval of claims in the amount of $108,504.91 and payroll expenses of $76,731.54. Motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I second.
Motion by Mr. Bowman and second by Mr. Bear. Any other discussion? Call for vote, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Stelling,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes. Item number 5, discussion action approve resolution 2022-010 adopting budget for fiscal year 2022-23 as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2022-010, adopting the budget for fiscal year 2022-2023.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Beer and second by Mr. Bowman. Any other discussion? Call the vote, please.
Bear,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Brooks,
No.
Dowling,
No.
Swallow,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Stelling,
Yes. Okay, we'll adjourn that, and we'll start our Economic Development Authority meeting. Call the roll, please.
Winters, Martin,
Here.
Dowling,
Here.
Swallow,
Here.
Bowman,
Here.
Stelling,
Here.
Brooks.
Here.
Bear.
Here.
Item number 3, discussion action on consent agenda. All the following items which concern reports and items of a routine nature normally approved AEDA meetings will be approved by one vote authority. Any trustee desiring to discuss an item on the consent agenda may request it to be removed from the consent agenda and placed for discussion as the next item on the regular agenda. It will then be considered separately. The consent agenda consists of the consideration and action on the following items: approval of minutes of the regular meeting of May 16, 2022, approval of claims in the amount of $24,021 and payroll expenses of $21,318.97. Motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Beard and a second by Ms. Swallow. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Bear.
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Stelling,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Item 5, discussion action to approve resolution 2022-11, adopting the budget for fiscal year 2022-2023 as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2022-011, adopting the budget for fiscal year 2022-2023.
Second.
We have a motion, Ms. Beard, and a second, Ms. Swallow. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Bear,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Stelling,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Dowling,
No.
Brooks.
No.
I believe we're adjourned.